Adventures in Filmmaking from Cambridge. So I was asked to come and do this talk. Hello, I'm Mark. And I was kind of wondering what we could do to talk about in this little room about that was kind of filmmaking and relevant. So I thought I would talk about coming back to Cambridge from London, where I used to live, and then trying to kind of stay involved with filmmaking. I used to work in the film industry sort of professionally. So who am I? I am an actor and filmmaker. I've been in TV and film and stuff like that, and I lived down in London when I was doing all this stuff. And then I had children, and children means things like getting a proper job and all that kind of fun stuff. We moved back to Cambridge where I'd grown up. So I moved back up here and have been trying to kind of keep that kind of energy going, that passion for filmmaking. Because if you're a filmmaker, it's a bug that can infect you and eat you up from the inside, and you can't actually in any way cure yourself of it. It's kind of a terrible disease. If you get afflicted by it, that's you done for life. You're a filmmaker, that's it. Which is a great thing. But how do you do it? How do you kind of keep that interest going when you're away from London, where, let's be honest, that's where everything happens, and and you've got this passion, you've got ideas, and you want to do it. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things today, and the first is a group called Ruptured Screen, and Ahmed here is one of the founders of Ruptured Screen. So what I'll do is I'll hand over to Ahmed. We can talk about what Ruptured Screen does, how they came about. So over to you.
Can I just point out as well, we didn't need to wear magic shoes. It's not like a waist thing going on.
Yeah. You didn't get the memo.
Ruptured Screen, which was my name that I decided on. Most people don't get it. It's supposed to be a play on Ruptured Screen, which is like a post adultery. But we started out February last year. It was my idea to just kind of put out an advert online, asking if there's any local filmmakers about to want to start a club. And the first session that I held, it was in the place that I worked at the bar at the time, and about 3 people showed up. And it wasn't very successful, but it eventually grew, and we now sometimes get up to about 100 people. So we try and find a venue around somewhere in Cambridge that we can get for free for about 3 hours. Normally there's a function room. We try and meet every 2 weeks and we want to shoot. But the nice thing about the group is it's full of people with different interests. So we get writers, actors, that's the one mark. People more like into music, and just people of all kinds who want to be creative. In this case, just come to the meetings and they contribute as much as they want to. So they don't have to come to every meeting. Like some people come to 1 or 2 meetings, do what they want to do, and then you don't see them for months, and they come back.
Like they time again.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't the whole group. This is one shoot that we worked in called
that's Harvest,
which I think we can see as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was for a 48-hour film challenge, originally based in London. We decided to just get together and make a film over a weekend, which was fun. And that's the shoot there. That's Chocolates and Sherrington. That's mainly the people that work in the group, but there's way more than that. Groups. Like online, we have up to about 500 members. It's never that big in the sessions. So that's...
Yeah. So this is taken from the shoot that I joined Ruptured Screen on. This is from 48 Hour Sci-Fi London Film Challenge. And what I really like about the group is that there are a bunch of guys with all kind of different skills, and they all take on a specific role. So if you've ever done kind of student films and that kind of stuff, kind of local amateur filmmaking, often it's a bit of a free-for-all. And no one quite knows who's supposed to be doing what or wherever. But actually in this group, everyone takes a specific role, everyone kind of knows what their role is, and they stick to it throughout the production. And that was really nice. And on Harvest, Dave in the middle there, he's a photographer. It's his first time directing, but he really stuck to, directing. Our DP, Ash, is a director, and he really stuck to the DP stuff. So it was really about everyone making sure that they knew what their roles were.
Egos are in the middle.
Exactly. They worked just together. It was a really, really good group. And they're also incredibly... there's a comparison with the Inception.
That was completely accidental.
I
noticed it. Because that looked so familiar to me when I was uploading it. I was like, where have I seen that before? And I just suddenly realised it's exactly like it's uncanny. Do you see Mark and...
But the group is prolific, so they've done, since October 15, they've done these 5, plus maybe another one that we've not got on the list.
Yeah, that I can't remember the name of. We stopped Like Father, Like Son. That was a 24-hour film challenge. The film didn't turn out very good. But that was, I think, our first big production that we did, just to film in 24 hours. And that one had specific rules, which was the film had to be called by Father or Son, and they gave us a quote to put into the film and an action, basically. That's how we know that we have a main film already before the production started. And the other films, Scriptorium, that was filmed in one of the churches around here, Harvest Force, Puppeteers, the one that we shot this summer, when we managed to find someone who has a house, like a really beautiful Victorian house in Girton, that was free for a week. So we just kind of moved in.
With the massive tree house.
Yeah. We like to keep our eyes open for things like that, just opportunities out games that we shoot. And they had like a really amazing tree house, that was just a great location to shoot in. So it was too good not to shoot in this, so we just went with that. Okay, it's currently being edited. And Take 28 we finished last weekend, which we managed to shoot in Cambridge TV Studios in front of the green screen, because the lady who was producing Take 28 is also the presenter of a film review show, One For You, for Cambridge TV. So those two last two, but it's been a production for seasons.
And that's a great thing about Rush to Screen. For me, I'd like to have been involved with the Take 28, but I turned out I couldn't do it that week. But as someone who's involved with the group, I know there's going to be more stuff to come, and that's always really good to.
That was the most ambitious film as well, because we tried to make it one long tracking shot. The whole film. It's supposed to be a 5-minute long film, but it's like the scene in Goodfellas when they go through the back restaurant and stuff. That was inspiration. So it follows someone from the Cambridge TV car park going all around the studio, just with the camera behind it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
Awesome. Right, who wants to watch Harvest? It's 5 minutes.
So this was one that was made over 48 hours, starting on a Friday night and finishing Sunday morning, edited, but we didn't win.
Travesty.
It went through post in this 48-hour period.
Yeah. Writing, production, post, everything.
Good, isn't it?
Even like getting the actors and stuff.
The colours on the projector are pretty off.
Pretty off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Doesn't like that too. Sorry, that was losing.
Here we go.
That is the opening.
Oh, there you go.
I understand why you're silent. As I was straight to the point, even for God's sake. Show some compassion. We're all sorry for what happens. But for the harvest program to continue, we need to talk to you what's wrong. Not your marriages. It's memories and stuff about research. And we give you a legacy. Healthy. Speaking of you, Alfred, we are able to preserve human minds, enabling our ideas to live forever. What's your problem? Forever's a long time.
Maybe we could just get everyone to sit right here so you can hear it. They're speaking.
You gave this to the world. They would be one. That's the result.
Sorry.
How many like that? All of them. Does Eva learn? She's always learning. Zero solution, zero fix. I've been working on that for the past year. Past year? Alfie, you've done it for a year. I can tell you because of your clearance. But I'm dying. There's no time to fix this. You have to shut it down. How? Tell me, Rick. How is required as a maximum up? Yeah, wait, how? Alfie. I don't know. I'm sorry, Alfie. Let's begin. First. Aaron, what are you doing still?
And that's Harvest, done in 48 hours, which is, I think we're pretty pleased with that.
What was the phrase?
So yeah, so again, that had a title we were given, an action, and a line of dialogue. So Harvest was the title. The action was the steaming cup of coffee, or pouring a hot drink into a plant pot. And the line of dialogue was, it gets overwhelmed from processing so much interaction. So those things all had to be factored in. It was a bit of we had a good kind of writing team on it, and it was fun because we were writing it as we were making it. So we'd have certain scenes written, then we'd go and shoot them, we'd be rewriting the later scenes to make sure everything was tied together.
That was the second competition that we entered, so we were more prepared this time. We had the location on standby for the actors.
It was really good.
One of the guys in the group, he works in the hospital. We shot him, so he was able to get us in there.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you need to watch like 10 more times to really figure it out. I like that.
I still don't get it.
It was good. What happened on the day? Because on the day we thought we were going to get those three requirements. We thought they were going to be given to us like at 9 o'clock in the morning.
The competition was based in London, and London got it before Cambridge.
Yeah.
So we got it.
So if you were there, you turned up at wherever it was, at the Odeon or wherever it was they were doing it, and you picked it up, you get it at 9 o'clock or whatever, but they didn't release it to anyone else till 11 o'clock. Yeah. So we were all there waiting to kind of
Twiddling of thumbs.
get going, like let's get something written and let's, so yeah, it was good. But the great thing about these competitions is that you end up with a film at the end of 24 hours or 48 hours. There's no long lead times, no long wait for post-production. You've got to get it all done.
So the only problem we had during the shoot was we didn't have an actress for the dream sequence. So everyone was just calling everyone that they knew, saying, "Oh, you may just shoot the scene."
Yeah.
And
And it was so from an acting, I brought in Sarah and Josh, Jake, but everyone was basically there, kind of on standby to go to be like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing today. I don't know what I'm going to be playing as an actor, and that's really fun. That's really, really interesting to kind of see how
they're always quite fun to be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Rock to the Screen. That's one way of getting involved. They're a very, very active group. They're prolific. They do a lot of stuff, and it's all good quality stuff as well. At the other end of the scale, when I came up to Cambridge and was trying to find like a film activity to do, I looked at Empire Magazine, and they do an annual competition called Done in 60 Seconds. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Done in 60 Seconds. Basically, the idea is that you take an existing movie and you have to remake it in a minute. So you've got to do a 1 minute take on an existing film. So when I came back up from London, I thought, this is a good way of doing something.
I've just got to take some stuff out
Yeah.
to worry about. Is that right if I just bring some stuff back and forth? Sorry to interrupt.
So, and that was just a good way of still making films and having a bit of fun, because it's, and then with the potential to actually go to the Empire Awards and actually win an award, which is really, really cool. So, so I've done one of those every sort of year. The first one I did was a movie called Speed, which was, takes place mainly on a bus, kind of the kind of classic high concept action flick from 1994?
Yeah.
3 maybe? Yeah. Starring Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. And so our Cambridge-based version looks a bit like this. and it's a lot of fun. So I think with that, that is Speed in 60 seconds. I did that in like 2008, and that was the very first time they'd run this competition. And I did this, and I'd done the classic thing of making films when you're a kid in your back garden, making movies. So this was kind of a return to that. And that got shortlisted, so I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. And so the next year, I moved on to a film that I thought really, really needed to be shorter. So I did Pearl Harbor, partly so that it, like I say, because I thought if any film ever needs to be shorter, it's Pearl Harbor, and also I could save people if they hadn't seen it, like 3 hours of their lives. So the next one was, and I started planning this almost immediately after the Speed one had come to an end. So this one sort of upped the ante a little bit.
The you added makes me very happy.
Yeah. So, that required me to build like an actual airplane cockpit in the garden, and a kind of water tank with model boats and things to blow the crap out of, and that was great fun. So we went all out on that one. But what we didn't do was win competition. Again, it got shortlisted. So I went for a cultural icon the next time around, and we did Top Gun, and Top Gun. That is me with a real fighter jet. We had one of the guys, the guy who plays the Ben Affleck character in Pearl Harbor. He actually was in the American military. A friend of his wanted to be a filmmaker, and he wanted to kind of get on board with the next 60-second project, and he was able to get us inside 3 different American air bases. So RAF Lakenheath, Alconbury, and the Molesworth, where we filmed our locker scenes. We filmed around a actual fighter jet for a day. I sat in a real F-15, which was live. Like if I pulled a handle, things would have gone off. It was insane. It was massively, massively not allowed, but we did it, and it was great fun. So let's watch Top Gun. This Top Gun's really fun.
You have the largest egos in the United States Navy. We'll make it bigger. Soy Mahasha pilot.
And take out. I know everything about jets. He's right, I'm just the love interest.
I feel the need for speed. You really are cowboys. What's your problem? These antiques are dangerous. Sure. Where are you going, Scientology class? I'm sorry, he's a lesbian, man. Guys, I got a problem here. Check. Get up. Here's gone. You gotta let go. Gentlemen, we have a convenient crisis to end the movie. Let's go. Okay, you're walking on. Fire! Be my wingman anytime.
Top Gun! And Top Gun ended up in the tabloid newspapers because I had tried to get some stories in the Cambridge News about, like, yeah, we've used a real fighter jet from Lakenheath, and I had been talking to the PR people at Lakenheath and going, oh, thanks for all this. And then The Sun put in a headline which was, filmmaker blags fighter jet from US Air Force. And so suddenly I had like this whole shitstorm erupted of like, oh shit, now every Tom, Dick and Harry's phoning up Lakenheath going, oh yeah, can I use a fighter jet? So I'm doing a little further, yeah. And so I had to go very, very quickly go back to all the PR people in Lakenheath and go, look, I'm really sorry, I did not feed in that line. They've taken my story and they've kind of twisted it to say, oh, a filmmaker blags a fighter jet. But after that was done, and those stories started circulating, this is kind of the power of media, because then this got 100,000 views on YouTube, and I went on this morning and talked about 60-second filmmaking, and by the time we got to the Empire Awards, the actual ceremony, Top Gun was pretty much unstoppable. We were just kind of, we were just rocking it, and so we won. And then Edgar Wright gave me an award, and I won my navy whites to the Empire Awards, because I thought that was the only way that anyone is going to have any idea who I am, because otherwise you're a black suit in a room with black, dark suits, and you're not famous. But if you wear a white navy suit, everyone knows who you are. So we won, and then I took a couple of years off, and I haven't got Argo, I don't think, but I did go back to it in 2013 and did Argo, and so I went and I just wanted to show a few pictures here from, these are the movie stills, and then our versions of the film. So we've got the poolside guys making the deal, we've got Ben Affleck on the phone, we've got the pitch, we're going to make a movie, and in the background here, this is a home movie that I made called Big Lizard, which is a kind of spoof monster movie, which remains the best Cambridge-based action movie ever made. But sadly I don't have Argo to show you. I thought I had it, but I missed. I can't do that, it's on the stick. Okay. So how many people are familiar with Argo? How many people saw Argo when it came out? Won an Oscar. It was all about, you know, how Hollywood saves the day in the Middle East, basically. And it was a lot of fun. Questionable as to whether it's really like Best Picture Oscar worthy, but you know, it's a lot of fun. And this is my version. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. And we won. We were a global finalist. We didn't win the big award. We were a global finalist. But the reason this picture's up here is because that's me with Tom Hiddleston and Joan Froggatt, who I'm still in touch with, who plays Anna Bates in Downton Abbey, and is doing all kinds of stuff. So and these people that I'm trying to kind of involve in future projects and stuff. So it was a fantastic networking opportunity. And because it'd been such a good networking opportunity that time round, I did decide to do one more time this year and made The Revenant, which is my remake of The Revenant, the Leonardo DiCaprio starrer and Oscar winner. Who saw The Revenant? Is it? Yeah. Leonardo DiCaprio gets eaten by a bear. Oscar Bates. Yeah. It's basically kind of. It's a bit kind of torture porn, isn't it? It's about, like, you know, basically Leonardo having a truly rotten time for 2 hours and eating real.
It described to me was just Leonardo DiCaprio scrabbling around in mud and sometimes blood as well.
Yeah, that's maybe it. Yeah. But you know, but for everyone, as everyone knows, that this was his kind of his bid for kind of Oscar glory, because he's always been denied an Oscar, despite having been nominated sort of several times. So he's basically gone, right, I'm going to literally put myself through the shit to get an Oscar. You guys will give it to me. Anyway, so here's The Revenant. Over time, you've had to. The Thunder 60 Seconds has really kind of evolved so that it started off just doing like a silly version of a film, but some of the ones that they do now are like really massively interpretive of like the film. Someone did an entire trilogy, like someone did like the entire Twilight series on a piano, like with two different hands playing piano and fighting, and one was a wolf and one was a vampire. It's just like, and that was kind of finalist because it was just a really interesting idea. So they've had to become more and more kind of like poking fun at a particular thing. But so yeah, that was the last 60 seconds for me. So I've done 5 now, and that was it. I guess the point of all of it is that, you know, it's a great way to kind of do a little film. Feel like you're still involved in movies and and you get to play all these Hollywood actors. You know, I played Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves and Leonardo DiCaprio and Ben Affleck, and had a brilliant time taking the absolute piss out of them. And hopefully they won't have seen any of these films at some point when I meet them in the future. But what's the other thing that's good about it is that it's kind of slowly been building up a kind of network of people who are local to the area, who are interested in filmmaking and kind of want to get involved with stuff. And so, just as a last slide, this is my thing that I work on at the moment. So I've got a short film called Town vs. Gown, which is based on a boxing event that actually happens in Cambridge every year, called Town vs. Gown, where University Club goes up against boxers from the local clubs. And I've used this as a kind of idea for a feature film, and this is a short film that I'm using as a promo to try and get that off the ground, get people interested in it. And it's done a bunch of festivals, it's won a couple of awards, and I'm just at the moment doing a bit of final polish and fix to submit it for consideration at BAFTA, because I played at Rhode Island, so it qualifies for BAFTA consideration. So, watch this space. Hopefully I'll have a really genuinely kind of local feature film made in the next sort of year or so, if I can find enough money to pay Neil and crew and get everyone on board and do it properly. The short, I'll show you the trailer for the short, but we shot it over 6 days, 6.5 days, all the weekends, and got a lot of people involved to do it for nothing, and it's come out really well, I think, but you can't do that for a feature. So as a closing thing, I'll just show you the Town vs. Gown trailer. That's Town vs. Gown. Which kind of brings me to the end. Unless, Albert, have you got anything you want to throw in about sort of filmmaking at a sort of local level? And
I think so. Nothing else to say.
And has anyone got anything they want to know? Any questions, any comments? Anything at all? Yes.
Does he end up falling in love with his coach? Because there was something there,
No, but maybe I should think about that for the long form version. No. But I crewed and cast this all locally. Mainly locally. One cast member who wasn't local was the guy who plays the other boxer in the fight, because I needed an actor with boxing experience. Rather than a boxer from my own club who might want to get in the ring and act, you just need someone who can actually do the discipline of acting and being on set and doing takes after it again and again and all that stuff. So that's the one guy that wasn't either local or of a local origin. Like the DP was from Cambridge but doesn't live in now, he was Cambridge based. So.
Probably need to wrap up within about the next 5 minutes.
I think we're about done actually. Is there anything else anybody wants to sort of say or?
I was going to ask if the University Film Association is contacted you at all, because what was Cinecam, what I think now is Cambridge Film Association, has been much more active in the last couple of years.
Right.
So it's kind of refound. I wasn't aware that you were working on shorts in Cambridge. But we should talk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's off the screen. There's also the Shooters in the Pub, which is kind of every month. There's a kind of networking event right just down the road in the Picture House, and you can just come together and talk about filmmaking stuff. And I've met various people there. Neil goes, I go there occasionally. You know, people who are. In fact, the Cambridge Film Festival. Tuesday, so that's there's things going on, and that's how I kind of feel my network. That and the kind of Facebook groups, my makeup artist for that came from someone who had posted, I'm training to be a makeup artist, I'm in Cambridge, and I just come and work on this short film, get yourself a credit and we'll get a makeup artist. Brilliant. But no, it's interesting because my film was obviously very, very Cambridge. It's got from the university, and we actually had the support of the University Boxing Club, so that's some of the boxers from the University Boxing Club, the amateur boxing club, were in the film, but playing town boxers. So in scenes where he's doing training stuff in the town, they're actually playing town boxers. We had a lot of support from them, and the council allowed us to film at the real first event, so we were proud of scenes and all that kind of stuff. But one thing we have done is syncing with the university on a filmmaking level. So that's what we should look into, because that's a really interesting collaboration.
Yeah.